This is the instructional how-to video for Justin Plunkett. Got your extended tongue with your generator platform up front. Got your 100-pound propane tanks here. These are empty. I'm hooked up to a live tank for demonstrational purposes. Got your exterior lights already on. We've got your city water fill box. This is for filling the freshwater tank and running the water pump. If you need to run any sanitizers or bleach in the tank for cleaning, follow these instructions. At least flush it out twice. Kind of hard to focus in. But this is for your freshwater tank and water pump. If you are provided pressurized water at your location, you can use your food grade water hose and plug up to this here. If you use this, make sure the water pump switch is in the off position. No water pump is needed for the pressurized water line. We do have your waste drain valve located here on the driver's side of the trailer. You can either hook up a 3-inch hose or a 3/4 inch hose. Once the hose is hooked up, simply pull the valve and water will drain out like so. Once finished, make sure that you do shut the valve and make sure you put the cap in its original spot so it doesn't get lost. So I've got your power cord plugged into our building at the moment. What I did is I ran the power cord down through the cable hatch like so. And then you can pull the cover closed and it will fasten in place like that for a nice snug fit. We do have our 100 amp electric panel in the access area below the sink basin. Turn my flashlight on, give some light. We have our 100 amp panel, all 20 amp independent circuits except for the two 30 amp 240 volt plugs that you had asked for. We've got your battery charging system for the 12 volt lights and water pump. The fuse panel located here is for all of the 12 volt system, and then we have our battery itself in this box. As long as this cord up here is plugged in, you are charging the battery at all times. The red cord is for the water heater. We've got your grease trap, 1020 grease trap that you had recommended you needed. Got your freshwater tank. You can see the level of water I put in it for testing purposes. We have your water pump, and we've got your water heater located over here on the driver's side of the V-nose. So upon startup, what you'll do is you'll take and go ahead and open your concession window, as I have done so here, and you can flip up the counter. Got the plug. We've got our hood system. Gas valve for your fryer. We've got your range in place, countertop, and gas connection below for the griddle. We do have your 240 volt outlet, one located here. That is your switch for your hood system itself. I'll go ahead and go over the electrical. Got your plug working here. We have your plug working here. I've got your extra hoses for the griddle and fryer and the 3-bin sink. I've got your sink cover located up above. That way I can demonstrate the trailer. So before we ever plugged the water heater in, we wanted to make sure we had continuous water on both hot water faucets. At that point, that's when we plugged the water heater in for, in which case, with the red light on, is heating now. While we're down here in the sink area, I will go ahead and talk about winterization. So if you're going to be below freezing cold, the nipple that you see right in front of the water heater is a blowout valve. You can hook an air hose up to it and simply turn the valve in the on position, making sure that the valve located, let me get this camera in the right spot, making sure that the valve located closest to the tank is turned off. That way you do not hurt the freshwater tank. Again, you'll hook your air hose up to this fitting. You will open this up, meaning running in line with the water line itself. At that point, you will turn the hot water faucet on first to evacuate the water out of the water heater, and then doing the cold water. There is a valve. There is a valve right beside that you see here. It's the furthest valve, and the hose goes through the floor for draining the freshwater tank. The other way of keeping this system protected, if it's going to be below freezing, is putting a small heater in here and keeping that climate controlled above 32 degrees. Your water pump switch is located here. Simple on-off switch. Got your hand soap dispenser and your paper towel dispenser. Got your air curtain over your concession window. It does come with a remote. Simple 1 button or 2 button for high speed. Do have your AC unit. You got the air coming in the downward position. You can close this off and open up the front or the back for air control. Go ahead and show you these plugs in the working position. Your light switch is located here for interior and exterior lights. Make sure you see everything in here. Again, this is more for instructional purposes. And when you turn the valve off closest to the tank, that's what can happen, like I did. Water's heating up right now. Perfect. So we'll go ahead and cut the switch on for the hood. Well, first let me go ahead over the fire suppression. This system is live. This is your control head for the fire suppression system and the tank below the countertop. You will need to get this inspected by a local fire suppression company and have them tag and certify the system. And then you can have your fire suppression fire marshal come out and tag and inspect the system itself. So we've got the hood system on. We do that before we put any gas into the system. And this is your other 240 volt plug. Got your exterior outlet. One on each corner. I'll go ahead and show you the outlets here on the passenger side. Yeah, we've got all your lights on. So when it is time to run the system, you will turn the propane tank on first. You have the same style valve. Simply turn the knob on to pressurize to the line. At this point, slowly turn this in the on position, running in line with the gas line itself. When doing this, listen for any gas flow coming through this regulator. There should never be gas flow coming through here when you are turning the system on. If you do, simply turn this off and go inside and inspect for any burners that might be left on from the night before. Again, everything should be in the off position. If you smell any excessive gas, turn the gas off. Propane is very dangerous. Want to make sure that everybody is good and safe. So again, no gas should be running through here at the time of startup. If you do, go in and inspect. If you cannot find where it's coming from, have a gas company come out and inspect the system, see if something is loose or broken. For lighting purposes, we're going to use a lighter like this. We're going to simply make sure that, again, all these are always in the off position for all your control knobs. We're going to light the pilots. There is a little bit of gas that is coming through the pilots, but you will never hear that running through when you open the tank for just the pilots themselves. It is a very, very small amount. With these pilots being on the back side, you want to make sure that they are good and lit before you ever turn those burners on. Sorry about the camera. Just trying to get the angles for showing in the video. Once those are all lit, then you have full control for your burners themselves. That is how you properly light the burners on your stove. Again, when lighting the pilots, they need to be in the off position. For lighting your griddle, same thing for those. They stay in the off position. You simply come underneath and you will light the pilots. Once all three pilots are lit, then you can turn on your burners to the desired temperature you need. Once finished, simply turn those off. And for lighting the oven, you'll let down, or ovens, you'll let down the lower parts. What you have to do is push in the button for the pilot to be lit. There's one for the right side, one for the left side. I'll have to sit the camera down for lighting purposes. It's two-hand, lighting mechanism, so to speak. So here in just a moment you'll see it lit and I'll come back to the video. I will put the camera in a place where you can hopefully watch me like this. So as you see, I've got the pilot lit. I'm still holding this button in here itself. Generally 10-15 seconds, and you'll be able to let off the button. So I'm going to go ahead and let off now. My pilot is continuing to be lit. And now I have full control for my oven control for the burner itself. Once the pilot's lit, there's no need for this door anymore to be open. You can go ahead and close that off. When you're not using the oven, just turn it back off and the pilot will stay lit until further needed. Again, simple lighting. I'm still holding the pilot button in place. I've now let off. I'm going to go ahead and open the burners up for operation. Again, when finished, just simply turn that to the off position. You have your oven rack. Looks like 2 settings for each rack. Also, since you have equipment you got to put in, make sure that these valves are always in the off position. If they are running in line, gas will be leaking out of the orifice itself. I'm going to go ahead and go to shutdown mode for shutting this system down. To do so, I'm going to first cut the shutoff valve off. I'm going to turn the tank off itself. Never leave these on while driving down the road or when business is closed. Always make sure they are off. Make sure that your tanks are strapped in place and pins in the door, in each door. Never rely on just the pins in the door. Always make sure those tanks are strapped in place. Make sure that your city water veil box is closed. Make sure that your waste drain valve is closed. Make sure your lug nuts are torqued to at least 110 foot-pounds every time that you move this trailer. You need to make sure them lug nuts are good and tight. You'll want to make sure that doors are closed on all sides and pins in the latches. Same thing for your rear removable railing. As you're doing your inspection, hook up to your lights, make sure that your blinkers work, brake, turn signals, running lights, all that good stuff. Since we have the gas off, we can go ahead and cut the hood system off. Got hot water now. Perfect. Sink cover can come down to the lower sit in place like so. Make sure your water pump switch is off. Your air curtain will be off. Your AC unit needs to be off. You'll want to make sure that you go ahead and turn your light switches off. If you leave any of the light switches on or the water pump, you could potentially run the battery down. That is a 12-volt system. Again, make sure that they're always off. You'll come around to your flip-up counter, press upward, releasing it down. and then close your concession window and latch it. That is how you properly shut the trailer down. Make sure that you do so every time so that you don't have any issues. It's not a bad idea to unplug the water pump just for added safety to protect your water. I mean, not your water pump, but your water heater. This video is intended for instructional purposes. Please do with it as you choose. Look at it, review it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our number is 615-641-7720. Again, if you have any questions, just reach out to us. Use this video as many times, to help you make sure that your trailer lasts for a long time and that you are safe upon using. We thank you.